Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. It is Friday the 21st of August 2026, and before we get into the modifications that I've done to the Farmall's H here behind me, let me tell you about some of the items that are coming up that you all are going to want to see. So let's jump right in and get to it. I'm going to knock all the events that are coming up out for you just to keep your interest here in the channel and what's going on in my world. We had our chapter meeting yesterday. I'm still the interim president of the local antique tractor pulling bunch. And with that, I can tell you with certainty that on the 29th, which is Saturday coming up, we will be at the Minidoka County Museum for their open house day. There will be antique tractors, antique equipment, some railroad stuff, you name it, all sorts of stuff you find normally at an ag area museum. Plus, we might even have some steam-powered stuff at the museum this year. Might be a power unit, a portable steam-powered power unit, might be a steam traction engine, don't know yet, but there's going to be something there that you're going to find interesting to see. Another thing you're going to find of interest is on or about the 3rd of October, the club is going to be having another plow day at one of the members' places. So there'll be a bunch of old iron there working up about 3.5 acres of ground or so with antique plows and whatnot. So make sure you stay tuned for that one as well. I overheard an argument the other day between a boss and one of his employees. The boss ended up calling the employee lazy. I had to chuckle a minute when the employee replied back, "I prefer the term selective participation." And now on to today's topic. Some modifications done to the old Farmall H. If you've been following along, you know that this was the starter pin that I had to push. It mounted here in the lower steering wheel support column and came over and pushed on the starter button, and you had to hit it with your toe on the end here to get that to push in and get it to start. Well, I couldn't get it done anymore because my foot couldn't get between the seat assembly and where that button was to push because of my knee surgery and whatnot. So what we come up with is the same starter button push deal like what I have on my Super M. Now, it's kind of hard to see it, pardon the cruddy camera work, but there's an original tab here on the back part of this piece right here that was originally welded to this shaft, okay? And that's what, when you push down here, would swing up and engage that button. Well, we figured out that there's more distance between the head of that button and this rod, so my son came over with his welder last Sunday after we heard our bad news in the family, and had a piece of 1-inch bar stock, and he welded it on here, and it's just about 1.25 inches longer than the original tab. Then he kind of rounded over the edge a little bit so it would rub better on the head of the starter button there. So anyway, we now have and it hits it and starts it and does real well. So the only thing I've got left to do now is he tack welded it in place. I've got to drill a hole here and one on the opposite side and run a 1/4 inch bolt through there with a nut and washer on the other side to make it look like it originally should have looked if this was something that was available on a 1940 Farmall H. I'd given some serious thought to adding the starter button deal that's up here. It was kind of a horseshoe shaped block of cast iron that starter button mounted into, but by the time I would buy one of those at about $50 off of Flea Bay and new battery cables to run down and around and over to the battery, well, it was just cost prohibitive. I mean, we're talking $50, so we'd been into that at least $100 with battery cables and that starter little cast iron starter block for that starter to mount into. Could have used the old one over again, and this way was a lot less expensive. We got the starter lever from like my Super M, the one that we welded on there. got that for like $1 at my friend's salvage yard. So yeah, that was the better option and way to go. I will return in another video though, and we'll finish covering the 12-volt conversion of like the lights and all that kind of thing, and how we're going to put new gaskets in the lenses and all that sort of thing to keep moisture out of them. So yeah, that'll be coming up yet in another video. My little truck needed some work, so I walked into the local repair shop the other day to get some work done on it. When I saw this sign hanging on the wall that said, "Notice, we guarantee fast work, no matter how long it takes." Well, that's gonna wrap it up today. When I said in the last video, I think it was, that we were starting to cool down, it was just from that day, and from that point in the day on, later in the day, it got cooler because of rainstorms coming in. Well, we got a red flag warning out for today and tomorrow for highs in the upper 90s again, and threats of possible thunderstorms with lightning and high winds. So we're going to have more here in the state of Idaho on fire than what we have had, I'm afraid. We've already lost a bunch of wheat fields, hay fields, rangeland, forest land, you name it. Everything that can burn has burned and will burn in this state of Idaho, because it is so dry here right now. I've got a friend over in the UK, his entire yard and his grass hay fields are just brown. He got one cutting off of his hay ground, and it's grass hay, and everything's just brown dead. So yeah, in fact, even his wheat didn't mature all the way. It just dried out too soon, and the kernels were real small. So the only thing he can do is sell it to a feed mill for cattle feed. Anyway, I hope you found this video helpful on a tip and hint if you need to recreate a starter setup for your Farmall H. I know some of you had indicated you were interested in what was going on, so anyway, there it is. And yeah, we'll see you on or about the 30th of this month with a video coming to you from the Minidoka County Historical Museum, where we'll have a little bit of a tractor show and heaven only knows what all else, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Anyway, I'm Dave, wishing you well. We'll catch up with you later. Bye-bye for now.